Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you my LEGO Snorlax MOC. Snorlax is a normal type Pokemon and was first introduced in the first gen Pokemon games and is the final evolution of Munchlax. This MOC has a total of 527 pieces, and at the time of recording this video it costs around $60 to $75 Canadian if you buy all the parts needed. This does not include shipping or handling, and your final cost may vary. I always suggest to try and source as many parts as you can from your own collection first, and only buying the ones you need, as this will drastically reduce your overall cost. I've also included a link in the video description below to both the parts file and PDF instructions if you're interested in building this yourself. Like with all my other MOCs, this was designed using Stud.io or Studio, and I try to stay true to the official artwork while referencing any 3D models or toys, just to get a better look at the different angles, sense of scale for the body proportions, and any other details that might be hard to see from the front. During the design, I was going back and forth a lot on what color to use, since it looked to be different depending on which source I was referencing from. In most sources, it looks like the color is a very dark turquoise or teal color, but in others it looked like it was a dark blue or dark green. I ended up using dark blue here, since the dark turquoise or teal color that currently exists in LEGO didn't seem like a good match, as it was just too bright. And both this and the dark green in LEGO have a limited part selection compared to dark blue. In a perfect world, if LEGO had a color even darker than their current dark turquoise or teal, with sufficient parts, then I think that would be the best choice. On the other hand, if you think the dark blue isn't a close match, you could see this as being the shiny version, which definitely looks dark blue. So despite how wide and heavy this may look, the body is actually quite hollow inside, with only an interior skeleton to help hold together the different sub-assemblies that make up the body. The main body is mostly symmetrical in its build from the front and the back, with some part swaps in tan that's used for the belly, and dark blue for the back. I want to make sure that I was able to capture its large body as best as I could, and that was accomplished with the help of these large wedge ship panel pieces in dark blue attached to the sides. These pieces have come in handy in a couple of my other MOCs in the past, and they also attach perfectly to these 2x6 wedges, both in tan and dark blue, and those help me just complete the shaping all around. When designing, I try to avoid using rare or expensive parts whenever I can, but this build does use a few of them since I wasn't able to find any other alternative at the time. Some of the parts include the 2x6 wedge pieces in tan and dark blue, the large ship panel pieces in dark blue, and these quarter round dome pieces both in tan and dark blue. You may notice that the cost of the quarter round dome pieces might not be as expensive as some of the others, but since they are fairly thick, if you're buying them off of Bricklink, then you may need to pay more for shipping, since they typically do not fit in the smaller letter size parcels or envelopes. In my experience, multiple Bricklink sellers needed to ship it in larger parcels or packages, which really drove up their cost. If this is the case, then I would recommend buying more from that seller just to make the most of that order, or you can just check out the LEGO Pick a Brick site, but the shipping times can be much longer. Taking a closer look at the head, it's fixed onto the body, so there's no articulation or posability. However, you are able to open the jaw slightly since it's connected using a hinge brick piece. I would have liked to make the mouth to be able to open a bit wider, so it can look like it's letting out a yawn or maybe getting ready to eat a lot of food, but since I tried to minimize the gapping around the mouth, the range of motion is limited. The eyes were tricky to build since it's basically just a black line, and I didn't want them to look too flat or to just stick out from the face. So they're done just using some 2x2 wedge plate pieces with some snot techniques built around them to capture the rest of the shaping of the face. This also helps me to have them angle back slightly so that it aligns with the curvature of the face, but the other areas of the face can look a bit blocky. Coming around to the sides and the back of the head, the ears are their own sub-assembly, and are attached using clip and bar plate pieces, so there's some articulation there but not a lot, so you can kind of pose it, but they usually just kind of stay in this position. And then the rest of the head is just pretty plain, and I try to smooth it off with different slopes and wedges to try and capture its overall shape. The arms are pretty simple and plain in the design, and are covered off with curved slopes on both sides, which are mainly held together using a snot brick and an inverted bracket piece in the center. There are no posable hand or elbow joints, and you're only able to pose it at the shoulders, which are connected using a mixo-style ball jointed socket piece. Again, since I tried to minimize the gaps around the shoulder, the range of motion is limited, and its arms are always in a raised position like this. But you can still rotate it. You just have to be careful as it can affect the side panels on the body, and move it up and down and front to back slightly. With the way it's built, you can rotate the thumb, but it doesn't really add much to the overall posability. And the other 3 fingers are fixed in their position and use the 1x1 claw plate piece in white. And if you wanted, you can swap that part out for the other claw piece that faces downward like this, to maybe give it some more variety or different hand gestures. So the legs are built into the body and are fixed just like the head, so there's no knee or hip articulation. The feet are their own sub-assembly and are attached using mixo-style ball joint and socket pieces, but with a minimal gapping around the ankles, the range of motion is very limited, and I would say even more so than the shoulders and arms are. So you can't really get it into a walking or running pose, but it is pretty easy to get it balanced and standing upright properly. And the soles of the feet are actually covered using 4x4 round dark tan plate pieces just to match the official artwork. I think in this MOC in particular, I prioritized getting the overall size and shape to be as accurate as I could, while making some significant sacrifices to the articulation and posability, which you may have noticed throughout this video. I think to get it into a sitting or sleeping position, I would have to rebuild its entire body, and there may be some other building techniques that could be used to introduce articulation, but let me know down in the comment section what your ideas are for that. Finally, here's how it looks scaled up to a regular minifigure. And this is how it looks scaled up to a custom trainer figure MOC. This is Trainer Red, based off of his in-game appearance. So that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know down in the comment section below your thoughts about this MOC, what your favorite parts are, or if there are any changes you want to make. Also let me know what else you want to see me cover in these reviews. And I do read all the comments posted and try to consider your guys' suggestion on future MOCs, but some Pokemon designs are easier to translate to LEGO than others, and they all take time to design, test, and build. I do try my best to get the MOCs to be as accurate as I can, but sometimes I end up scrapping or shelving the designs if I don't think it's up to my standards, or maybe it's beyond my skills at the moment to design. So I try not to make any promises, and I appreciate everyone's patience. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.